To the chair, other commissioners, and staff of the Securities and Exchange Commission, I want to thank you for this opportunity to speak directly to you. My name is Paul Graywall. I'm Coinbase's Chief Legal Officer, and with me is Brian Armstrong, the Chief Executive Officer and Chairman of Coinbase. I'd like to start by turning things over to Brian to say a few words. Brian?
Yeah, thanks, Paul. So again, thank you for the opportunity to respond to this Wells notice. And I thought I'd share a few words just about the founding story of Coinbase and why I decided to base it here in the US and how we've proactively sought out compliance over the last 11 years. So back in 2012, I had just read the Bitcoin white paper, and something clicked in my head when I first read this, that this might be a very important technology breakthrough that could help update the financial system globally. I'd had a firsthand experience seeing how difficult and challenging certain aspects of the financial system were. I had been a software engineer at Airbnb, and I had seen how difficult it was to send and receive payments globally to 190 countries. It was slow and expensive and difficult. I had lived in Argentina actually for a year, studying abroad and working abroad, and I had seen what a country looked like that had gone through hyperinflation, where people had lost trust in the currency and they didn't have access to good financial services. They couldn't get loans, for instance, to buy a car or a home. And so when I read the Bitcoin white paper, I thought this might be an important breakthrough, something on the order of what we saw with the internet, a new global and decentralized system that could make it easier for people to transmit value and update financial services globally. The next decision I had was, where do I want to start this company? Once I realized I wanted to start a company. And I went to some early Bitcoin meetups in San Francisco, and people were telling me, you shouldn't base it in the US, it's going to be too challenging. There's 50 state regulators and multiple federal regulators, and you should start it in Hong Kong or Singapore. And there was other firms that were starting at that time that did that. But I made the choice at that moment to start the company in the US because I knew that even if it was more difficult, the US was a major market, there was respect for rule of law, the US was a financial hub, a technology hub. It was a place where I felt entrepreneurs could work in good faith with regulators to help define clear rules for new industries as they emerged. And so I was lucky enough to raise some venture capital money. The prototype on my laptop, nights and weekends, turned into a small company, and we went off to the races. 11 years later, fast forward, this strategy of proactively working with regulators in cases where it really wasn't clear what we should do because it was a new industry, we tried to do the right thing in the absence of clarity and demonstrate good faith effort that would allow us to bring this technology in a safe and thoughtful way to hopefully 1 billion people someday. So here we are as a public company. I think we've made enormous strides, and I think the message I'd really like to leave with the commissioners and the SEC is that we're committed to working within the regulatory perimeter. We want to see a clear market structure for trading crypto securities. Not all crypto assets are securities. There's also crypto commodities, there's stable coins, there's crypto that's artwork. We're going to work with multiple regulators to make this industry safe and trusted. And a Wells notice at this stage, when there is not a clear rule book, is not constructive, and it's not good for America. We are prepared to defend that position in court, but it doesn't have to come to that. We welcome a true dialogue about a workable path forward for our industry. Now I'll hand it back over to Paul.
Coinbase has been talking to the SEC about our business for many years now, including sharing our legal views on our asset listing and staking services. We have repeatedly asked the SEC for its own views on how securities laws might apply to Coinbase and our industry. And to be candid, we've mostly gotten silence in response. Coinbase will defend itself vigorously in litigation if it comes to that. But it does not have to come to that. We will show up at your offices any day, any time, to discuss a workable path forward for our industry. But we won't find that path without true dialogue.